Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk to you about the character of a leader. Our first question becomes, what is the definition of character? It is the mental and moral quality distinctive to an individual. Seems to be a little bit lacking. We need some details. So, the character is not what one thinks, says, or believes that proves character. Character is demonstrated and proven through repetitive actions. As the beginning of Luke 6:45 states, the good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good. The full passage, Luke 6:45, reads, the good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good. The evil person out of the evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks. It is the internal traits that are reflected through speech and actions that help demonstrate character. We are unable to discern anyone's mental or moral qualities except through the study of their actions. So there are three questions we want to explore today. What constitutes good character? How important is the character of a leader? And why must a spiritual leader prove to be of good character? So our first question, what constitutes good character? Four cardinal virtues found in many systems of ethics and moral behaviors, including our scriptures, are wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice. When we read the Bible, we find many more virtues which are demonstrated by one of Christian character. They include integrity, forthrightness, and truthfulness. The fruit of the Spirit, described in Galatians 5:22 through 23, add to the list of good character traits. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. We should note that these traits are reflected in the actions of an individual. Our second question, how important is the character of a leader? If a leader knowingly demonstrates something is acceptable or unacceptable, those who follow will incorporate those things into their pattern of behavior. Have you ever heard the phrase, do as they say, not as I do? The fact is that leaders of all kinds, whether they like it or not, lead by example. Leaders must continuously watch what they are saying through their actions. Actions demonstrate the truth of character. Our third question is, why must a spiritual leader prove to be of good character? James 3:1 says, do not become teachers in large numbers, my brothers, since you know that we who are teachers, and here we can insert the term leader in place of teacher, will incur a stricter judgment. The responsibility taken on by spiritual leaders is great, and the influence poured out on others while being accounted for. The seeds that are planted will determine the fruit that is produced. One of the things that we need to keep in mind as spiritual leaders, that whether you are titled a pastor, a teacher, a preacher, if you were counted as a Christian amongst your peers, in your community, or in your family, you are a spiritual leader. We need to keep in mind that all of us Christians must demonstrate good character. And so, with that, we should always keep in mind these spiritual traits. Pray to God, ask Him to grow our character, strengthen us, and guide us in our speech, in our actions, and the things that we do. In conclusion, church leaders, which include all Christians, alike should be extremely mindful of their conduct inside as well as outside of the church. Not only does their actions reflect on themselves, but also on the church and Christ and his teachings. So I thank you for listening to the character traits of a good leader.